In this video, we're going to change the oil on a 2011 Honda Civic. Some things that you're going to need before you start is 4 quarts of motor oil, your oil filter, a socket wrench with a 17mm socket, or just a regular 17mm wrench, a funnel, paper towels, a jack stands, and an oil pan to catch the draining oil. An optional tool is this oil filter socket. Makes it a lot easier taking the oil filter off of the engine. Just slips onto the oil filter like this, and you can put your socket wrench on it, and you can turn it very easily, because sometimes these things get pretty tight on the engine. Just don't use this to install the oil filter. You start by jacking up the vehicle. And once you have your vehicle safely supported on jack stands, you go ahead and open up the hood. The hood latch is located right down here. Alright, under the vehicle, the bolt we're looking for is located right here on the oil pan. Loosen the oil fill cap so the oil drains more easily from the oil pan. Get your paper towels ready in case you spill some oil. Position the oil drain pan a little bit further away from this bolt here. Line up this bolt a little bit over the edge on the pan. That way you give the oil room to shoot into the pan. And we're letting the oil drain into the pan. You may have to readjust the pan as the oil comes down. While that's finishing draining, we're going to change the oil filter. Position the pan underneath the oil filter to catch any spilling oil. Take your oil filter socket, place it onto the oil filter. And you see the oil start to drain from the oil filter. Let that drain. As you notice, as I'm unscrewing the oil filter, the oil volume is starting to increase coming out of the oil pan. That's why we left the drain plug off while we took the oil filter off. Take clean paper towels and wipe off the mating surface for the oil filter up here on the oil pan. We're going to take our new oil filter. This is Mobil 1 M1 110. We're going to take a little bit of oil and lubricate the rubber O-ring on the oil filter. And then screw on the oil filter onto the engine. Now you only want to put this hand tight. You don't want to make it any tighter than that, because then it'll make it very difficult to remove. Now that the oil has turned into a light dribble, we replace the bolt on the oil pan. Tighten it down nice and tight. Wipe off the drop of oil. And we're done under the car. Take your funnel, place it into the oil fill, like so. Now this engine takes 3.9 quarts of oil. .9 quarts of oil is essentially 4 quarts. I put the full 4 quarts of oil in the engine. Place the fill cap. To reset the oil life percentage, you turn the vehicle to on without starting the engine, and it'll show your oil life. You push While it's showing the oil life, you push and hold the select reset button for 10 seconds. When the 10 seconds is up, the oil life is going to start flashing. You release this reset button and then you push it again for 5 seconds. And the oil life will reset, showing 100. And that's it. Now the oil life is back to 100. When we start the vehicle, we're going to let it run for a few seconds and make sure that the oil pressure light turns off. The oil pressure light's turned off. So now we can shut the vehicle off and remove it from the jack stands. And that's it. That's how you change the oil on a 2011 Honda Civic.